no Jedi.
Your powers are weak, old man.
Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
Hello there.
General Kenobi! You don't know the power of the dark side.
Hello, our lovely listeners. We're so grateful to have you back for this week's edition of Disciples of the Force podcast. I'm your host, Austin Hyatt, and this is my beautiful co-host, Spencer Silva. Spencer, say hi.
Hi, guys.
Beautiful. Hey, well, we're excited. This is a big week for us. Mandalorian season finale. So it's late. Spencer and I were just talking about this. We'll just get this stuff out of the way. A little Easter egg action. Talk about what we liked. Please send us your thoughts. Send us your prayers. Whatever. Let us know what you thought. So we'll just get into it. I don't have any Star Wars news. The only thing that's upcoming is April 28th. Star Wars Survivor, Jedi Survivor comes out. The sequel to Fallen Order. So that'll be exciting. Spencer still hasn't played the first one because he's a fake fan. So
and no time. I've got no time, brother.
Also, today marks a month before Spencer gets married. So everybody's invited, right? Invite our fans, Spencer.
Come on down to Salt Lake. If you want, you can email us. I'll give you the information. You can send me some stuff on the registry, Spencer and Allie. So don't even worry about it, dude. Send me money, Venmo me. I don't care.
Go ahead. Well, perfect. Okay.
As Austin said, this is going to be a shorter episode, most likely today. I know it's 10, which doesn't sound like that late, but also when I'm playing late, we played Warzone last night, and I didn't go to bed till hella late. Mad tired. Played 18 holes of golf today. Got in a fight with my missus. I'm hurting right now. So we're gonna do a shorter episode, mainly focusing on our thoughts on the season finale of The Mandalorian. Came quick, but it was good.
Real quick question for you. You played 18. Who'd you play with?
I played with my good buddy Forrest. We have a podcast coming out. We're going to redo the first episode because the first one's audio is butthole. Forgive my French. And
yeah,
we're going to redo that. And we played with my buddy Jaren. He left after 9. He was tired. He was tired bones. But it was fun. It's a good time.
How'd you do? Better than last week?
Yeah, way better than last week. Forrest was on fire, dude. And
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I know.
Not for a second.
I know one does. We tied the first. We both shot 7 over, and then we played the back. Anyways, I ended up shooting 87, and he shot 85. So he only beat me by 2 strokes, but it was good.
Wow,
it was fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, perfect. Any other golf news? Any other news in general from you, Spencer?
No, dude. I'm just graduating. Got a week of finals. That's the other reason why we're doing it kind of short. We gotta finish up this week, dude. If you're watching the video, you can see my eyes are glossing over, dude. I just glanced at myself. Look like a zombie. Oh, and I got my CPAP machine. If you guys were wondering, dude, great night's rest. This is sponsored by BetterHelp.
You used it for the first time last night. Sorry, we're getting a little personal on the pod, but I haven't talked to Spencer one-on-one in a little bit.
It's been a bit. Yeah, I used it for the first time. So my average was 15.6 times I would stop breathing an hour, like at night. Yeah, 15.6 an hour. With the CPAP, it said I only once per hour I would stop breathing. Still scary, but it's like weird. It's like constant air and it's like a humidifier. It's great.
Wow.
It felt great. So
did you notice a difference when you woke up?
Waking up just as drowsy. Like I was like, oh dude, I'm super droggy right now. But throughout the day, I felt a gazillion times better. It's like my body finally rested. Also, if you hear that stupid noise, it's my dog, and she's just munching on some toy. I'm going to kick her out in a second. So, Austin, with that, get us started. I'm going to kick her out.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, like we said, season finale of The Mandalorian. I thought it was great. Spencer usually has the ratings, so he'll pull that up in a second. Probably wasn't my favorite episode of The Mandalorian. One of my favorites of this season. I haven't been shy about talking about how little I loved this season, but I think it was a graceful ending. I thought it gives us a great reset going into next season. But yeah, I really like how they ended it. How it kind of gets us back to just Grogu and Din Djarin adventures a little different. It's kind of putting us back in a spot where we were at in season 1. So a lot of questions answered, and we're in a good spot, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I totally agree. It's setting up for definitely a strong season 4. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just ran up the stairs. But I didn't. Yeah. So the ratings for this one, man, we are just all over the place this episode.
know,
The
it's
ratings for this from IGN was a 9, so amazing. There from Samantha Nelson, reviewed on Disney Plus, stated a triumphant.
Spencer, let's go ahead and yes, triumphant. I'm thinking
A
triumphant.
triumphant finale ties up the plots of the first 3 seasons of The Mandalorian and sets the stage for the new adventures for Din Djarin and Grogu, which you just mentioned. So yeah, totally. I mean, I think I agree. It wasn't my favorite, and as far as like season finales, I don't even know. I mean, definitely not number 1. Number 1 would be season 2. That finale was amazing. So, but I mean, still a good episode nonetheless.
Yeah, you're never gonna beat season 2 finale. I mean, that was just killer. One thing I didn't like, and I think I texted you about it. I definitely talked to my boy Tim about it. Shout out Tim, one of our new listeners, a good friend of mine. I feel like they rushed this ending a little bit. And we talked about that, how the whole season kind of where are we going, and then all this action in the last 2 episodes. But particularly, I felt like they rushed even the transition from last episode into this last one. Because you think of how the last one ended, an emotional death, sacrifice by Paz Vizsla. Din Djarin is taken away, scary. He's separated from Grogu, and the Mandalorians are kind of trapped underground. And then we open up in this episode, Din escapes in like 5 seconds and is saved by Grogu. And it's like, wait, where did Grogu come from? Like, it felt like there was supposed to be some big emotional separation. And this is kind of a problem that The Mandalorian has had. I know I complain all the time about The Mandalorian. He's such a Debbie Downer. And I hate to fit the Star Wars fan base stereotype that we all just complain about Star Wars. But I do, because there is so much potential. Anyway, like the end of season 2, that was emotional because Din Djarin gets separated from Grogu. We're about to see like Lone Wolf Din Djarin. Holy crap, I can't talk. There's this conflict between him and Bo-Katan. Moff Gideon's been captured. And then we come into this season. Oh, Din Djarin and Grogu were reunited in another show. He's okay with Bo-Katan, and she doesn't really care about the Darksaber. And I guess Moff Gideon went to prison, but we find out he doesn't, obviously. So it's just weird that the writing is set up in such a way where we're left with these quote-unquote cliffhangers, and then, I mean, they're immediately solved. Immediately. So, just very strange. But, what was the other thing?
Well, we also talked about how the armor. I don't know if you want to get into that, but the armor was
Yeah,
part of that.
let's go ahead.
Well, yeah. So we talked about how she. First off, I mean, she didn't double cross him, but which was crazy. Someone made a good point on our TikTok that they're like, it's so obvious that it's her that it won't be her.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what it was. I mean, maybe something, but anyways, the reason why we brought that up was because she says to Bo-Katan, like, "You're crazy for thinking you saw the Mythosaur." Yada yada yada. I mean, not crazy. You saw a vision, right? That's what you saw was a vision. And then all of a sudden, she's like, "I believe you." And it just feels like there was supposed to be this big reveal as to what that, like, why she came to believe her and why she felt that Bo-Katan needed to, unite all of Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of doesn't exist. It's just like one day the armorer wakes up and she's like, "You know what? Yeah. Bo-Katan's right. She literally saw a Mythosaur and she needs to unite everyone. So it was super, yeah, like you're saying, there's just parts that maybe they got cut in editing or what, but it did feel like there was parts that were missing out pretty big.
Well, that's the other thing too. The Mythosaur. Like, there's that bit at the end there where the Mythosaur's eye opens and it's like, oh, okay, this is signaling a rebirth of Mandalore.
Right.
I kind of thought when the light cruiser crashed into the base, when Axe Woves crashed that ship into the base, that would like awaken the Mythosaur, and it would be this huge moment for the Mandalorians. I don't care that it wasn't that, but it's like, why introduce this just to have it end, and then we're making the story small again? I know that not every story in Star Wars needs a show, but I'm wondering how the Mandalorian season 4 will balance. Oh, the Mandalorians are back on Mandalore. They finally accepted Bo-Katan as the leader. The Darksaber's gone. The Mythosaur is being woken up by the woke mob and the woke media. And it's like, how are you going to balance all those stories with Din Djarin and Grogu going on their self-contained adventures, or are you even going to try? So I feel like I would have liked a little bit more resolution at the end of this episode, or like I said, an episode in between, where here's what I would have done ideally. Before we get into the Easter eggs and things we liked, I really liked the scene where they go underground and Bo-Katan's like, you found these underground gardens or whatever. And they're like, no, we planted this. These are native Mandalore plants. They all came back and they've done really well, and we planted this. And it was a great signaling of the rebirth of Mandalore without a ton of exposition, and I thought it was done really gracefully. I would have liked last episode ends. Din Djarin is separated from the rest of the pack. The Mandalorians have to escape with Grogu. They go to these underground caves and kind of set up camp, and Bo-Katan kind of sees a vision for how she can restore Mandalore to its former glory and see like the native life that can spring up there. And then there's some adventure with her and the other Mandalorians kind of trying to get back to the base and making a plan to save Din Djarin, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Just something that wasn't instant gratification like it was.
Right, because then that gives you the detachment from Grogu and Din Djarin, and then you also, be cool, a scene of like them torturing Din Djarin, and they rip his helmet off. I like so many things that they could do with it. Would I think you're right. An episode in between would have been like a slow burner in the beginning, and then would have ramped up again, going right into the finale. I think that would have been great.
Yeah, you made a great point there too. Like torturing Din Djarin and ripping his helmet off. That was one thing that kind of interested me, was that season 1 finale, we see Din take his helmet off for the first time. We see Pedro Pascal's face. Season 2 finale and an episode or two before that, also directed by Rick Famuyiwa. Oh, dude, I know I just pronounced that wrong. Holy
Hate
cow.
crime.
Yeah. But the one with Bill Burr in it.
Yes, yeah.
Where he has to take his helmet off. We saw his face there, and then at the season finale of season 2. I was really surprised that we didn't see his face this entire season, because I was under the impression that maybe that was something in Pedro Pascal's contract where they could bill him as an actor and not just a voice actor if he showed his face once a season. So kind of surprising that we didn't see that, and maybe that was something that was cut, like we're saying, but just kind of interesting.
Super interesting. I think, I don't know. I think it is another episode would have made me more satisfied than. I mean, I'm still happy with it. It wasn't terrible. It was good. But I would be more happy.
Listen, now that we've complained and moaned like the little grimy little Star Wars fans we are, we can get into why we liked it, right?
Let's get into it.
So let's hear some details, Spencer. Go ahead.
Yeah, so starting off, loved Din's fight. I thought that was really cool in the beginning. I mean, I know it was like an instant, like, oh, he's breaking away, but I just thought it was cool because there's parts like where they're choking him out, and like, I don't know, I thought it was pretty, and like, it was just good. And then of course Grogu being cute when they're choking out Din, he just goes, no.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. So, anyways, that's what I have right here in the beginning. Oh, yeah, you go because I can't see what this part is. Yeah.
Yeah, I've just got a few things here in the beginning too. I really liked the X-Woves shot as he's like ascending up into the atmosphere.
Mhm.
We've talked about it before, but like that GoPro style type of shot where it's um, steady over their head or like over their shoulder, and it shows like a POV shot. Um, I just love that, and the special effects, like the rain and the humidity in the atmosphere as he goes up, just looked really cool.
It did. Looked great.
Another design thing I liked is the TIE fighters hanging like bats in the cave.
Yeah, that was cool.
Really cool. And then also, like the end of last season, we saw. I remember it blew my mind when the Tie Fighters like launched like a slingshot out of Moff Gideon's light cruiser out of the center like that. So Moff Gideon has some cool ways of storing and launching his freaking Tie Fighters. So we can be grateful for that.
Yeah, he's a G, dude. He knows what he's doing. The next part I have is when he's going through the, he has R4 open and close the gates.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you saw it too. You reminded me a lot of Phantom Menace, you know,
Mhm.
when Obi-Wan's waiting in those. So I thought that was cool. But the one thing I really loved was there was a scene when he's going back and he's fighting them, and he throws a knife. Oh, dude, it was so good. The throwing knife. I don't know if you saw that part.
I did.
Loved it. That was my favorite.
I saw that and I was like, that's literally me in Warzone with my
That's
throwing
what
knives.
I thought. That's what I thought too, dude. I thought the same thing. I was like, this is a Warzone right now.
So sick.
So
But no, that scene was so cool. And yeah, like you said, of course, it makes you think of Phantom Menace. And I just loved the choreography of that, where he was like smart enough to take them on two at a time and how he just mowed through them.
yes.
Also, around that same time, when Moff Gideon is fleeing, like right before that scene, he says, or no, maybe he's looking at the security thing and he can see where Din Djarin and Grogu are. Anyway, he says something like the Mandalorian is free or the Mandalorian escaped. And I just wondered, why do they still call him the Mandalorian? Like, Moff Gideon is on Mandalore. He's a Mandalorian fanboy.
Yeah.
And there's 1,000 other Mandalorians there, that he could be talking about. Why is he still referring to Din Djarin as the Mandalorian? Is that for us fans or like casual fans? Or is there a reason why that's his title?
And I mean, you bring up a good point because it would be silly because it's like they've said Din Djarin like 1,000 times throughout. Well, not 1,000. That's an exaggeration, but a couple times throughout the season. So it's like I feel like if you're watching it, you would pick up quickly, like, oh, that's his name. I don't know, maybe he wants to. He doesn't want to humanize him. Maybe to him, he's just like a monster, and he just wants to keep him as that. Doesn't want to give him a name. I don't know. It is an interesting point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, interesting. Two other things before we go on.
Go ahead.
About R4. I liked when R4 is like responding to Din Djarin, and Din's like, I don't speak binary, which is, the beep boops. And it's because he hates droids. Like, he never wanted to pick that up. He picked up Tusken Raider speak before he picked up binary, which is crazy. And also, this is a little Easter egg. I don't know if it was intentional, but R4 like lands on that platform and then looks over the edge. And there's that ongoing joke of there's no guardrails in Star Wars. Sorry, I'm getting really emotional. There's no guardrails in Star Wars. And that's a callback to A New Hope when Obi-Wan is like shimmying along to turn off the tractor beam, and there's just this giant chasm and no guardrails. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was a little funny Easter egg, if it was one. But that's what made me think of it.
I like it. A little bit. It showed. I mean, in that part of that, there was the jetpack scenes. What did you? The fight scene. I loved it. But what did you think about it?
Dude, yeah, I was like, I kind of sat back in my chair and I was like, this is where all the budget went, man. Yeah. Like, this is a cool fight. And like I said, those like over the shoulder point of view shots, so cool.
Really good. And the armor, dude, she's got some freaking moves, dude.
Yeah.
With her hammer. Oh my golly, dude.
Also, have you seen the actress who plays her?
No,
I'm a fake
she-
fan for not seeing her face until this year's Star Wars Celebration. She's kind of bad. Yeah,
Hey,
Loki.
yo.
Look her up. Um, but yeah, such a cool fight scene. I had some thoughts while they were fighting, but I guess I didn't freaking write them down. I really liked the mouse droids, like the mouse droid police coming to get R4. I think that's the
Yeah.
first time in live action we've seen the mouse droids actually do something. You know, we've seen them all the time, but they're always just scurrying around. But maybe that's their purpose.
It's just scary. Well, I did like it was weird though. The first one that came up, it kind of looked like claymation. It was like kind of weird. I don't know. It looked funky the way it was like done. I don't know if that was on purpose or maybe the first one's weird.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah, I think it was on purpose because in A New Hope, that's kind of how they move.
Okay, that's what I
Yeah.
figured. It was an homage or something because I was like, I'm like, yeah, that's cool.
Right.
I do. Oh yeah, keep going. I don't know if you have anything around that part as well.
No, that's pretty much it. I just really enjoyed the aerial fight scenes. That was so cool.
Good. I agree.
But-
it was watching. I was like, this is good. This is
Yeah.
really good.
And I loved like some of the movement was kind of exaggerated. It reminded me of like the Siege of Mandalore in the season 7 of the Clone Wars.
Mhm.
Like their descent into the base, so freaking sick out of the dropships.
So sweet.
The next thing I have is the Giancarlo clones, the Moff Gideon clones. So if you've got
Yes.
anything before that,
Mine's actually after that, so go ahead. Let's hear it.
oh, just crazy. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. In the last episode at the beginning, when he's talking to Burndall Hux in that meeting, Moff Gideon, when he's talking to Burndall Hux, he says something like, the cloning was your obsession or
Yeah.
something like that, not mine.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show, like, from the beginning, we thought he was working towards a clone of Palpatine or he was going to develop Snoke.
Right.
But his intentions were really to develop his own super soldier clones, which is crazy. I also saw a theory
Let's hear it.
that because this Moff Gideon that we saw in these last 2 episodes didn't have a mustache like he has in previous seasons, that he was a clone. So
I did, yeah, and it could be. It's possible. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it was. I mean, we talked about it. Disney doesn't
Yeah.
like killing people, I guess.
yeah, I would absolutely never put it past Disney to do some freaking crap like that. But I mean, not that I would hate it either. Like, I think that would be a kind of cool plot element.
But the thing with that that you had said, it makes me wonder how they are going to tie it all in. I wonder if somehow someone's going to get a hold of his, like, oh, he's cloning really good. Maybe we should take this to Palpatine. I am curious how that's all going to fold into everything. Because, I mean, his plan, like, we didn't really know what his plan was until this episode. Now we officially know what he was doing. And why he wanted Grogu was because he wanted to be force sensitive because he's not. Which is cool. I mean, it's a mad scientist kind of vibe. Kind of liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, it was great. I also thought that Din killing them before they could draw their first breath was kind of strange. Shows that Din Djarin is pro-choice. He's pro-abortion, which is crazy.
Confirmed. Theory
confirmed. Go woke, go broke, Disney. You understand? Just kidding. Just kidding. Disney's never going broke, and they're not woke. Chill out. The next thing I've got is that underground plant scene. I don't know why I like that so much, but I've got like a half a page of notes on that. I'm a freaking nerd. I've got like 3 sentences, but still.
On the top of my mind, I can't remember. This is shown before the Praetorian Guards come out, right? Or is this after? I can't remember.
I don't know. I was too enveloped in the plants, obviously.
Yeah, it looks like you're.
I didn't even see the Praetorian. Were the Praetorian Guards in this episode?
Yeah, dude, they were. You must have been just focused on those plants.
No, you go ahead and say what you've got.
Well, the first thing I was going to say is when the door closed on Grogu, the Praetorian Guards are beating the hell out of Din Djarin, right? And then the door closes once they go after Grogu. It reminded me again of Phantom Menace, like how Obi-Wan was just stuck there to watch it. it just kind of showed. I don't know. Maybe I'm just focused on Phantom Menace. I don't know. But something that I thought was super funny. I had this thought is like that they don't finish the kill. There's 3 of them and they never finish the kill. They have Din Djarin on the ropes, dude. He's ready to be dead, and then Grogu just shows up and they all go to him, which is funny to me because we play Warzone. We already talked about it. For me, dude, I want the kill. I'm gonna take the guy out. If there's 3 of us on one dude and someone else starts shooting, I'll let the other 2 go. I'm gonna finish that, and then I'm gonna go to the next thing. And then they do the same exact thing with Grogu, right? Like Grogu's about to be dead, they're about to take him out, and then Din Djarin walks in, and they all focus on him. Maybe that's their code. Maybe that's
Crazy.
What they do. I don't know, but I thought it was really funny.
Well, you know what, Spencer Silva? That is why you will never make it as a Praetorian Guard. You're just not cut out for it. You don't think the way they do. No, but yeah. I mean, obviously, fights in Star Wars are not driven by skill or logic. They're driven by narrative and story, which, I mean, I hate that. I love it. Of course, we have a podcast about it. I'm an idiot. I'm a hypocrite. But yeah, should have just killed the guy. I'm glad they didn't. Because I think it was somebody who saw a bit of this at Star Wars Celebration, or maybe somebody who got an early screening of it. I don't know. I saw something on Twitter. I don't go on Twitter. I just saw a tweet on my timeline about this episode is really gonna undo a lot of things. Like maybe we asked for too much. It's very emotional. And I was like, somebody's gonna die then. Right. I'll have to find the tweet, and I mean maybe we can put it in a clip or something, but I was like, well, somebody's going to die. And I was like, well, they're not going to kill. What?
I said, maybe they're talking about the Darksaber.
Yeah, that was emotional. That was sad.
Yeah.
But I was like, they can't kill Din Djarin, of course. They can't kill Grogu, you know? Or what are they going to sell at Disney World in their plush section? And I was like, they can't kill Bo-Katan. Like, Dave Filoni wouldn't set all this up just to kill one of the characters that he really cherishes. So I was like, I thought somebody was going to die going into this, but obviously we didn't see much of that except for Moff Gideon. And did Axe Woves made it out, so who cares? Where was I going with that, though?
We were talking about how you said you saw the tweet, someone's going to die.
Oh, yes. Yes. So when they got separated and that door closed, I was like, well, Grogu's not dead. I know that. But I was a little scared. And they actually did a pretty great job of that scene of humanizing Din Djarin, which they do really well because his inadequacies kind of show through, and like he's kind of clumsy for how competent he is at everything. They show like how human he is, which is great. But I was thinking, like when he's running to save Grogu after the Praetorian Guards kind of separate the two, and Moff Gideon is like shooting him and then grabs him with that wire, shoots that cable around his neck. Yeah. I was like, dude, I would be freaking out, Like you're just trying to get up and run, like you just got the crap beat out of you and you're just getting yanked by your neck. Oh my gosh.
Dude, that was brazy.
It was really not relatable. That's never ever happened to me, but it really humanized Din Djarin.
The next part I have, I think I must have skipped a lot of parts because the next thing I have is about the Darksaber. So if you want to get anything between that, I'm sure you do.
Okay, well let's just talk about the plants for a second. Just kidding. No, okay. Two things. I really liked how the guy, and I didn't catch his name, but the leader of the Mandalorians that were still on Mandalore that we met last episode.
Oh, geez, the people who aren't cowards who didn't leave.
Exactly. The dude who's super hot for whatever reason. Silver Fox, dude. Anyway, he was like, he said something to the effect of, all they need is room to grow, speaking of the plants, and it kind of lingered on that line for a second. And you could tell that Bo-Katan was kind of inspired by that. Like, all we need is room to grow as a people. So very cool. I'm really excited to see the future of Mandalore after just a really well executed scene. Right. It was 10 seconds long, dude, and they said a few words, whatever, but it really signaled to the future of Mandalore. So anyway,
Can you show me your thumb real quick? Is it you got a green thumb, dude? This guy's
it's
big
green.
plant over here.
You see that?
Got green thumb, bro.
No, part of my job for the past year, year and a half ish, has been trying to keep this office plant alive, and I've done it, but
Dude.
it is on the verge of death every week. So if you have any tips for a peace lily, keeping that alive, it's the easiest plant in the world to keep alive, apparently, according to Google. I can't do it. Well, I have, you know what I mean, but it's not thriving. So drop some comments below. Okay, we can move on. Go to your next freaking. Okay, last thing. Getting suit is like a super suit. I noticed in the closed captioning, the subtitles, it says suit whirring, like it's making noises as he's moving.
Yeah.
So it's like an Iron Man suit, an exoskeleton. Yeah. Very cool. And that obviously explains why he was able to beat the crap out of everybody.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, because like every step is like hydraulics. So yeah, very cool. So, dude, when he destroyed the Darksaber, I was like, honestly, I paused it. I was like, no way. Did he just push it out of her hands? And I had to go back and I watched the close-up, and when it went on the close-up of it, I was like, dude, that's toast. That thing's broken.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. I don't know. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it is really crazy. Because again, you know, when I think of Disney's decisions, I think of merchandise.
Right.
So I was like, man, that kind of. And my buddy Tim, I was talking to him. He was like, yeah, because he's going to Disney World in a week or two, I think, and he's going to build his own lightsaber. And he said something to effect of like, which is so cool. I want to do that so bad.
Yeah, same. We gotta do it together. We'll do it together.
I know. Let's do it. We'll film it. It'll be great for the pod.
Sweet. Yeah.
But he was like, if I wasn't doing that, I wanted to buy a Darksaber. But now I don't want to so much. I was like, man, that's gonna happen. That's gonna be how people are thinking too. But it is a nice way of tidying up the story, because a lot of beef that people had with this season is like, is the Darksaber worth anything? Or like, we can't really tell when people care about it or when they don't care about it, or who rightfully owns it, how you win it. Because it's supposed to be won in combat, but do you have to be yielding it to win it in combat? Does your opponent have to be whatever? So it's nice that it tidies everything up, and we see that Mandalore still accepts Bo-Katan as their leader, even after it's destroyed and she's not wielding it, because she did lead them into battle with it, and that was super cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, it's nice that like her reign is established by the Darksaber, and now it's gone. So hopefully that kind of tidies up some issues that people had.
Yeah. I mean,
what did you think about it?
No, I mean, I think it's great. It's like it was. I've never watched something that was an item that got destroyed that I was actually like, whoa. Like, you know what I mean? Like, usually it's a person. I'm like, oh my gosh, they killed that person. But this time I was like, oh man, the Darksaber's like gone. Like, this has been like a central point in so many things. Like Moff Gideon wanting it. Like, you have what I want. Like, all these things. Well, actually, I already talking about Grogu. He's talking about Grogu in that scene. But anyways, yeah. But
more or less, so.
You know, he still wants to, you know, like he wants the freaking Darksaber. And so the fact that it's just gone, I was like, honestly, kudos to them to take something out like that. And they did a great job storytelling wise to make me attached to an item, to the lightsaber. So really cool.
Yeah, great. Because I mean, we grew up with that, you know. I don't know if you watched the Clone Wars when they were coming out, but you know, that's been a part of my life for a long time now. So to just see it end like that, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was insane. Cool way of doing it, though. And that shows how strong a suit is, dude. Just freaking crushed it, dude. Insane.
I also wondered his motivations there, because, I mean, I guess in the heat of battle, you don't really care. But he needed the Darksaber. Like, he really, really wanted it, you know? So, I know. Just kind of strange.
Maybe that goes to the fact that it was a clone, not a perfect.
That's true.
Really, Moff Gideon, he wouldn't have done that because he really needs it. And maybe the clone's like, this is stupid. I don't need this thing. So,
only word. Theory confirmed. You heard it first.
The next part I have was I loved how Axe jumped out of the starship when it was crashing, dude.
Yeah.
So sick.
He like shoots the window out. Yeah.
That was cool. That was a really cool scene. I really enjoyed that.
That was cool. And then we texted about this a little bit, but Gustavo Fring got blown up for the second time. Uh, pretty great. That explosion was great. We didn't see Moff Gideon die. I mean, we did. We saw like a giant plume of fire and death. So of course he's probably dead, but you can never count it out. And we were talking about this too. I was like, they should have shown like his like a broken or burnt helmet like rolling to signal like, oh, this dude's dead. But the fact that they didn't show him at all, I hope he's dead. I mean,
Yes.
I mean,
We
we
love
say
him.
this all the time on this freaking podcast. For story purposes, we hope he's dead, but he might not be. So
Right. Well,
something
I mean,
to think
if he's a
about.
clone, he's not. But it's just like, dude. I mean, someone said it before: no body, no death. And it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, we didn't see anything, dude. I can never be sure anymore. And I watched a TikTok the other day. It was just like, dude, Disney. We just talked about it a little bit, but like Disney has such a problem with death, and like Disney also loves just bringing back characters who are gone. And
Mhm.
like for example, did you hear about that? I don't know if it was confirmed, but there's like Mace Windu coming back in Book of Boba Fett. Did you hear about any of that?
Wait, that's a rumor that in this
It's a
next season.
yeah, that he's coming back. But I wonder, people are like, well, it's probably just gonna be a flashback. I'm like, it better be, because like, you, like Mace Windu's death is so impactful and so crazy
Yeah,
that I want it to be just that. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I love him. He's one of my favorite. If we're gonna do anything with him, I want it to be prequel stuff. But no one can be Samuel L. Jackson. So you know what I mean?
Right. Well, two thoughts there.
Go ahead.
Fan fiction, so much fan fiction has been written about Mace Windu surviving. Like one of my favorite YouTube fan films, which I cannot remember the name of. I think it was a Star Wars Theory fan film, but it shows Mace Windu coming back and killing all these clones, which is really cool.
Oh yes,
Like people are
I've seen
obsessed
this.
with the idea. Yeah, you've seen that.
Yeah.
People are obsessed with the idea of Mace Windu coming back, and he's probably the one person that everybody would be kind of okay with him coming back. Like you said, I think it was such an impactful moment for Anakin that he shouldn't come back.
Right.
I think, yeah, if he's going to be shown in the Book of Boba Fett, of course, I'm sure it's got to be referencing child Boba dealing
Right.
with seeing Mace Windu kill it, like decapitate his father. You know, that's the
Yeah.
only thing I could think of them including. That being said, I would love to see prequel stuff about Mace Windu, and I know we talk about how we want to get away from the Skywalker saga, and I do. But if you're gonna do it, do it. And Samuel L. Jackson, man, dude's like, I mean, let me look up his age. He's 80 something, 80 plus.
Yeah, he's
Do you know that?
old. Yeah, I didn't know 80.
He didn't even
but
start acting until he was like 40. Didn't get a big role until he was like 45. He's 74, and I mean, he looks as young as he did 20, 25 years ago. So I think it would be no problem for him playing a prequel
Really?
era.
Interesting.
Dude,
Well, here's the other thing that they could do, because we did watch. I mean, what's that movie called? Captain Marvel. How they
Mhm.
did CGI to make him look younger. It
Yeah.
looked good. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
also a possibility. But go ahead.
No, that's true. De-aging is such a thing now that it wouldn't be hard at all, especially with a movie type budget. I know a bunch of
Yeah, exactly.
people complained about freaking Hayden Christensen not looking like he's 17 in Obi-Wan Kenobi. And really, that's Ewan McGregor's fault. While we're getting off topic, Ewan McGregor aged so gracefully, and he's just eternally hot, that Hayden Christensen going from 18 to 20 years old to 40 years old looks horrible, even though he's aged super well too, you know?
Yeah.
But I can't remember who I was talking to, but they were upset about how they didn't de-age his face for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was a series, and obviously the budget went other places, whatever. So yeah, I think a movie budget with a flashback of Mace Windu or an actual Mace Windu movie could be very easily executed.
I would love like an origins of Mace Windu. I mean, everyone just loves him because he's just so unique, dude.
Mhm.
Dude's got a purple lightsaber. He's just dope, dude. He's just
So
dope.
cool.
Now that we're done,
What else do you have here?
Yeah, let's get back to what were we talking about? Yeah. Oh yeah, I was like, so speaking of the part where Moff Gideon dies in quotes entre comillas, when the the blast is going over him. When they pull up the shield, I was like, when I first saw that, I was like, there is no way they're gonna
Yeah.
act like that thing went over the shield. I'm gonna lose my mind if they're untouched from that small 1 foot radius shield. And then, of course, Grogu's back there doing the Force. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, that's pretty sick.
So cool.
That's super dope.
Yeah, dude. I love that. And it lasted for a long time. I don't know why I was nervous. I was like, dude, how funny would it be right now if it like he got overpowered and all three of these just burnt to a like it'd be horrible.
All
You know?
three of them died. That would be an insane ending, dude.
Yeah. But so cute, man. The way he got tuckered out after all that and just sits down. This season got to me with Grogu. I usually don't like them playing on my heartstrings and making him super cute, but this season I really liked it.
Yeah, I was for it. I love Grogu
Yeah.
this season. Such a cute little guy.
Last couple things I have here are post everything, like the very end.
Yeah, the next thing I have is we talked about how the armor, as of right now, didn't double cross him. We were wrong.
All
The
right.
second thing was I did like the ending with then they started chanting for Mandalore. I thought that was actually cool. So usually I kind of cringe out of that stuff like that, but like that way they did, I was like, oh, that looked good. I like it.
Right. Yeah, that was awesome. And I mean, like I said, it's really exciting to see where this Mandalore arc is going to go. I hope we get to see it come to fruition because they've set it up really well now. You know, they took their time getting there, and but now we're in a really good spot to see, you know, where's this going to go. Next thing I have is Din Grogu, not Grogu Jaren. We talked about that a little bit.
Oh yes, yeah, we were like, yeah, you and I were texting back and forth because if you didn't catch it, it was Grief Karga turns and says Din Grogu, which
Right.
like, wait, is Din a first name or what? But go ahead.
Yeah, because right when Din Djarin formally adopts him, which is kind of crazy, when the armor acknowledged that Grogu has real parents, but they're far away. And then Din's response is like, well, then I'll just adopt him. It's like, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
like, obviously they're dead,
well,
whatever.
I'll just take him.
Oh, yeah, he's just mine. No worries. And then she's like, yeah, so now you're Din Grogu, whatever. And then Grief Karga repeats it just a little bit later. And we were talking about this. So, I mean, is Din a title? It's not a... what's the word in English? I can only think of it in Italian. Cognome?
I hate you. That just happened.
What the F is the word? Surname. Surname. Last name. F me. Jeez.
Anyways.
We can cut that if that's too cringy. I really couldn't
that's
think
the
of it.
funniest thing ever, dude. I'm gonna keep it. That's so good.
I can't even remember what I was saying.
You were
Anyway,
saying if it was a surname or if it's
Okay,
like,
yeah.
say the last name first or what?
so even within the Children of the Watch, Paz Vizsla was a member of the Children of the Watch, and his name was Paz Vizsla, as far as we know, right?
Right.
I mean, the other Mandalorians are clearly first name, last name.
Yeah.
Like Bo-Katan is simply Bo-Katan Kryze is simply referred to as Bo Katan. Wait, is she ever referred to as Bo? Just Bo? Is Axe Woves ever referred to as just Axe?
I mean, I call him that, but I don't
Yeah.
think he's referred to that canonically.
Right. Yeah. Now I'm kind of questioning that because when we were talking earlier, I was like, yeah, all these Mandalorians are referred to by their first name, last name, just how we would in English, or in American English, I guess.
Well, here's the thing: going with Paz Vizsla, you also have he's part of who was the first Jedi Mandalore. What was his name? His last name is Vizsla. I can't remember the first part.
Yeah,
So,
Tar
I mean,
Tar Pre Paz. I think it's Tar
Something.
Vizsla was the first Mandalorian Jedi.
Okay, keep track of them. So that one, I mean, their naming convention stays first, last. So,
Yes,
I don't know.
Vizsla is the clan, so it's
Okay,
not
so-
Clan Din.
Right.
But you made a good point. Maybe Din means foundling or something like that. Because so far as we know, we don't really know many foundlings. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and that was the other thing because it's like, you know, we talked about like Din Djarin. I should probably say it specifically,
Right.
was adopted into the Creed, and then now Grogu that. So maybe it just means it not really a Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's true. It's like the
I
mark
don't
they
know.
wear forever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or
It isn't. I'm excited. I'm not excited. I'm curious to see how they play this
right.
out.
Or here's the thing. Maybe we think about it more than the writers did. And maybe Din Grogu just sounds better than Grogu Jaren. Maybe. I don't know.
Jaran.
Jaren.
Well, that's the thing is like, I mean, I get it, but the thing is like, and I here's the thing. Right when I heard that, I sprinted to fandom. I was looking at all the Star Wars fandom ever. Like I was like researching. I'm like, am I missing something? Do I not know how this works? Nothing. So I'm like, it's not something deep. It's not some weird deep cut. So I don't know.
Yeah,
So
kind of
maybe
strange.
you're right. Maybe it was just a writer was like, Din Grogu sounds way better.
Right. Yeah, so I mean that's that.
I loved,
what else do you have? I've only got a couple more.
I mean, I have this about. I loved it. I thought it was a good action-packed episode. It kept me on my toes for a good while. Like I clicked on, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm already 20 minutes in. It's a lot's going on." But the second thing is Dave Filoni in his sexy hat at the end. Wait, man, he's such a cutie with his hat. He loves
back.
that hat, dude.
You'll never see him without it, dude. Yeah. But yeah, this time in that bar, I was looking for all the cameos from last time we were there, like Zeb and the other directors. Because I think the guy who directed this one, Rick Famuyiwa, I don't know. That's a horrible. The guy who directed this episode and last episode, I'm pretty sure he was a cameo the last time they were in this bar.
Oh, really?
He was sitting there talking to Dave Filoni's character, something Wolf or whatever. Okay. When Din Grogu and Din Djarin are talking to Greef Karga. Wait. Yes. Oh, no. They're talking to Carson Teva, I think, in the bar. And Grogu goes to get Din Djarin's attention, and he says something, and it sounds like Dad.
Oh, really?
I'm just obsessed with what Grogu's first spoken words are going to be. Because when Lizzo was talking to him a couple episodes ago, it sounded like he said love. And he said no and yes through IG-12, but I thought he said Dad, and I was like, "Oh, dude, he's getting close." I was worried that they were gonna make him talk to like accept the creed when the armor was like he can't speak, and then it like kind of zoomed in on his face. I was like, "Oh no, they're gonna give him a." How are they gonna do his voice? Like make him sound like a baby, but have him talk?
No, he's just Yoda. It's just Yoda.
It's just Yoda again.
Except I will. You're like, what the?
Yeah, it'll be a task when he starts talking, but maybe they won't do it ever. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe they'll just kill him. They're like, all right, so we could either make him speak for the first time and have a sentence, or we just kill him. Like, yeah,
just kill him.
It's way too much work. Dude's 80 years old, or whatever it is. For me, that's all I had. So if you got
okay, I've got two more things. I was confused why it made sense that droid head would become IG-11, because it's just a random IG droid head, right?
Right.
And then, excuse me. Holy cow! Excuse me.
That's okay.
It's just a random droid head in a bar, and it's like that doesn't have IG-11's memories. Why was it some powerful moment when they repainted him and gave him to Navarro? Unless his memory banks are stored elsewhere. I thought that was the issue of why IG-11 was attacking Din Djarin. Yeah, so I don't know. Kind of weird. I was like, do I just have a fundamental misunderstanding of how droids work in the Star Wars universe? I don't know.
You do.
So if you know the answer, comment, please.
Dude, they were vibing though when he showed up. Your new marshal. They went, oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? But I agree with you that it is interesting that, there's no like significance to his like. You would think his head has all the core memory parts. Like it's not gonna be in his body. So, I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. weird.
Just kind of strange. Again, just weird writing decisions that it honestly makes me question. Like, do I just not know that much as a Star Wars fan, or are these writers just like making stuff that I'm not familiar with? I don't know. It's probably the former, but I'd like to think it's the latter.
Don't worry, someone will create a whole thing of why that makes sense. So
Exactly, yeah. We'll get another series on explaining that. Yeah, last thing I have here, I just love the very end scene. Din just kicking back at his new cabin with Grogu just sitting there in the pond, man. Pretty cool. And I'm really excited for the next season. I think we're going to get back to the Western feel, the more self-contained stuff. I think it'll be great. I'm hoping.
Sorry, I'm yawning. Do you think number 4 will be it? Because 2026 is when the official release date is for. They might be able to pull 2 more seasons by then.
Well, what years? Oh, it's 2023 right now.
Yes. So
yeah, I think, dude, it took 2 years to get this one.
Yeah.
The end of 2020 to the beginning of 2023.
But you also have COVID in there.
Yeah, you're right.
So that might have pushed it back a bit.
I think I would like to see just one more season of The Mandalorian and then a culmination.
I agree. And I think that's probably I'm sure that's all they're going to do. I think they're going to do one more season, and then that gives them time to do the rest of the seasons, like whatever they need for Book of Boba Fett, whatever they need for Ahsoka to lead into the movie. Because I think it would be rushed if it went Mandalorian
2 seasons.
And then throw in another Mandalorian. So I think you're right. I think it'd probably be the last season.
Yeah. So it might even just be one season of Ahsoka. Has anything else been confirmed? I think it might be one season of Ahsoka. I don't know. They could do 2. Well, I mean, we don't know the contents of what it'll be, but I think, regardless,
depending on how it's played out, Ahsoka, how they're planning on doing it, I could see if they did it well enough. I could see a second season. I hope they don't do a second season of Book of Boba Fett, but is that confirmed or not? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think I've heard things about it, but I can't imagine it being confirmed. I mean, I can't imagine that, but
the good thing is they won't continue these things. You know what I mean? Like, it'll come to an end. We know there's going to be an end. If they suck, then
right.
But yeah, it'll be good.
So yeah, I think one more season, and then we'll see the culmination in 2026, and that would be a pretty good timeline. Because we're pretty sure it won't come out in 2024. We've got most of the shows slated for 2024, a 2025 release, and then 2026 for a movie. That'd be great.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to Rick Famuyiwa, the director of the last episode and this episode. You did a great job. I'm sad that the rest of the writers and directors didn't set up a better ending, but this ending stuck the landing, dude. Executed best they could, so it was great.
It was great. It was good. I enjoyed it, and I think it didn't say it. I mean, it did. It saved the season. We'll talk about it more next week. We'll go down into what we think about the season. But I mean, for me, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's me too. So yeah, like Spencer said, next week we're going to be talking season 2 recap or season 3 recap. Sorry, and then we're also gonna. Spencer and I are going to brush up on our season 1 of Visions and talk about some of our favorite things from season 1, getting ready for season 2 release the next week on May the 4th. So yeah, I think that's it. Spencer, anything else you got?
That's all I got, man. I'm excited. I've been rewatching Visions because I gave it a lot of hate last week, but I realized there's really only 2 that I don't love. I really don't like the orchestra, the symphony, the opera. I know you love that.
Yeah, I like that one. It's pretty good.
So we'll talk about it. But yeah, we'll talk about that next week. And we'll have a little bit of a break for just a little bit, like a recess. So we'll just be going over some of our favorite things, spinning the wheel. It'll be good times.
Yeah, we're giving the fans what they want, dude. The wheel's coming back. It's making a hard return. So I'm
getting the request on Instagram, on TikTok, on my emails blowing up. Where's the wheel? Bringing it to you, dude. It's coming.
Okay, as always, thank you for listening, guys. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Please continue to share us with your friends. Like Spencer said, give us some requests. We want to talk about what you want to hear about. So we are limited in our knowledge, but we can do our best.
Yep.
So.
Disciples of the Force at gmail.com. Just send it to us. No spaces, of course, all one word. But with that, thank
you for being a disciple
of
of the Force.
Good.
Solid. That was a good one.